What's up guys, welcome back to BB Collectibles, a place where we share our collections with you. Today we'll be unboxing a very iconic and set scene in One Piece, and I believe many of you guys should know when I mention the word Ace. Yep, this figure is from Cola Studio, and as you can see, the front cover is Ace printed in black and red. I believe this is after Luffy rescued him at Marineford, and if you look at the back, it's just Luffy. I was expecting the box art to be something similar to the actual figure, but I guess they didn't do it. Doesn't matter. What matters is the figure inside. Let's unbox it, shall we? After unboxing, we actually have 14 different parts. First being the main base, and we have the 3 character, Akainu, Luffy, Ace, 2 of Ace flame effects, 4 smoke particles, 1 of Luffy's straw hat, and we have 2 of Luffy's arm, and lastly we have Akainu, the shoulder badge. Okay, so let's have a look at the base first, shall we? There are 2 layers to the base, one being the floor over here, and one being the circular pebbles on it. This is actually a plus point to me, as it makes the base look more alive and 3D, rather than just giving you one big flat surface. And to me, the paint job is pretty well done. The different tones of blue used throughout, and I like how they managed to make it look dirty, like worn out in a good way. And as for the detailing wise, I love the pebbles, the tiny cracks on them, as you can see over here, all the cracks, and the tiny holes gives the overall look more realistic, and the texture on it actually feels like actual rocks. Another thing I love is that they did not miss out the beads from the Ace necklace. The beads are a very iconic scene in the show where Ace got punched by Akainu, and it actually shattered just like his life. Okay, for the smoke effects, they're all painted in different tones of white and grey. Pretty normal if you ask me. Next is our Ace. Okay, you guys must be extra careful when handling him. His hair and the flame effects around his body are quite thin, and it feels pretty fragile. Sadly, one part of his flame was already broken. You can see, yes, over here, when I received him. Yeah. Looking at the paint job, I think Cola Studio did an excellent job this time around. One, you can see his hair isn't really full black. There is a lighter tone of brown throughout it as well to represent the flames around him. And 2, you can see his body is actually painted in different shade of beige, like around his muscle, and I guess this makes it look even more realistic. And 3, I like how they actually painted the normal flame and the magma differently, with both their own shade of orange. And even you can see the blood on his face. They actually made it shiny with 2 different reds, tones of red, to make it look like fresh blood. Really well done. The detailing is impressive too. The individual curly strands of hair, you can see, and the popping veins, and the tiny black lines throughout his face to portray the worn out look from battle. The texture of the pants he's wearing actually feels really good, like jeans kind. And his facial expression also resembles very closely to the one in the anime. Now for our other main character, let's have a look at Luffy. Okay. In terms of the paint job, to be honest, I think it's quite consistent. You can see the tip of his hair is slightly lighter, not just fully black. Both his shirt and his pants, you can see from here, have different kind shading of yellow and red. Same for his body. The one-off details on his face is good as it matches with the scene. And the texture on his shirt and slipper actually have a very nice touch to it. It's not just smooth, but actually they did do carving on it. And overall, his resemblance is quite true to the anime too. I must say, it's actually really quite well done. Looking at his straw hat, the first thing to be careful with is actually the string, as it is really thin. The straw hat itself has a lot of carving too, but one thing is wasted is actually does not have the scars, the 3 scars over here done by Buggy. So a bit wasted. And last but not least is our Akainu. Okay, first thing you'll notice straight away is the texture on his head. It feels very real, and I really like it more than if they would do it like those smooth kind. The details on the head is quite decent too. They even make out the creases on this side of the cap and also this side of the cap. And if you look at the shading, you can see that over here and beside this kind of the blue, they actually use white and gray throughout. And even the front here, this is not if you can see, this actually gray and white afterwards. So I really like the kind of shading that they use. And if you look at his hair behind, it is very flat and smooth throughout. It's a little pale in comparison to the Ace and Luffy's hair. But I remember that in the anime, when he removed his cap for a moment while chasing Ace, it does look very flat to me, so this really isn't a concern to me. Next, if you look at the face, he really looks exactly like Akainu from the anime. Maybe his sunken in cheeks, and if you look at the eye and the eyebrow, there is actually an extra layer between both of them, which actually makes his feature even more distinctive. As for his clothes, you can see that there are different tones of lighter and darker red on it, and there are also some parts of black on it, like how he got all the damage throughout the whole wall. Really nice. I also like how big his lava effects are. For such a scene, I guess the effects is very important, and such a big effect actually plays a very big part in it. And if you look at his glove over here, you can see that the gloves are actually have a lot of creases on it. Like, it's sort of like showing his hand cracking due to the heat of his own deathstroke power. These kind of tiny details is actually really cool. And as for the cape, it feels pretty normal. Feels very much like a portrait of pirate cape for both the shading and the texture. Yep. Okay, let's put it together and show you guys the full figure. Ta-da! Actually, the overall assembling process was quite smooth. However, one thing to note was, if you actually merge the Akainu and Ace together first before you insert them into the base, it may be easier that way. If not, I would rate this figure 8.5 out of 10. Personally, I really love the design of the figure, and I feel that the scene is so simple yet impactful, and the overall resemblance of the characters, such as the detailing and the facial expression, are spot on. However, one thing I've noticed is that the straw hat isn't on Luffy's back. You can see it from here. It's actually on the floor. So if I remember correctly, by right, Luffy should still be wearing his straw hat on his back until the later part where Jinbei actually shoot him from Akainu's attack, and that's when the straw actually flew off. So I guess this is one part that Cola Studio actually missed out on. Lastly, how would you guys rate this figure? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, do help to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. See you next time. Bye bye.
ありったけの夢をかき集め探し物探しに行くのさポケットの恋それと You wanna be